Here we go. All right, so we are in record mode now. So let's get started. Welcome again, everyone. So what is GetGandal? So we started GetGandal last year. We held our first event. If I recall correctly, it was October of 2019. We had quite number of turn up. So GetGandal, basically what we are trying to do here is to groom African entrepreneurs and starting right here in Malaysia. In Malaysia today, most Africans that have entrepreneurial DNA face the lack of adequate support from the local ecosystem, so which in turn hurts the takeoff. So GetGandal, we are building the platform that will help these African entrepreneurs in Malaysia access the necessary resources, the right support, so that they can really apply the full potential of their talent and create value for society. So in a nutshell, this is really what GetGandal is all about, okay? And as part of GetGandal, Cafe is part of GetGandal. So we use Cafe as a way for us to, bring people together, have sessions. Sharing is also for people to meet and know one another. So it's a great opportunity to connect with like-minded people, okay? And the team, we are an African diaspora team, 30 plus years of experience. We have team members here in Malaysia, UK, and Germany, and some of them are on the line today. Okay. All right, so I will let myself, you see me there. I don't need to reintroduce myself. I'm Selu, for those who don't know me, hello. Do we have Tony on the line now? I don't see Tony yet. So probably, Udesh, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
I have to unmute. Okay. Hi, guys. Let's start again. Okay. Can everyone hear me loud, clear?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, now you are frozen.
It's breaking. Can you hear me loud and clear? Hello?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Finally. I think so. It's kind of choppy. Okay. So hi, guys. Good evening. My name is Yudesh Chaska. You can call me Yudesh or Chaska as well. And representing WSF, which is a venture builder, in short for the World Startup Festival. So what we have been doing in Asia, as I overlook the chapter in Asia, is I have to mention like two spheres of it. Mainly why is because that before COVID, of course, as a venture builder, our main idea is in fact to grow entrepreneurs and startups, and especially focus on SMEs, the small, medium businesses and enterprises in Asia. But coming up to the pandemic, which is right now on the 60th day, I would say, since it went global, not only in Malaysia, since having the impact. Our diversification has been mainly to see how we can actually bring these businesses to be sustainable, because there's a lot of repercussions that's happening due to the pandemic, and it is not spoken of. And as a business owner, these things are not easy. To be honest, it's not easy to go by, because you have invested a lot of time, effort, money, and people's livelihood depend on it. Okay, so we have been mainly looking towards that over the last few months, and we are seeing if we could advise to save the business, we could save the business. We at WSF Ventures right now, we are also acquiring a couple of businesses that needs to be acquired, in the sense that they have no more capital budget to actually move on. But of course, it's not ideation stage. They are small businesses that are in trouble, but certain industries. So that's literally what we have been doing. And thank you, our host, Selo.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so next we have Samuel.
Hi, Zulu.
Hey,
Thanks
hi, Samuel.
for hooking me up.
Yeah, no worries.
So I'm just Samuel Kamgisha, mainly from Uganda, and currently working in Malaysia. My current experience is about 11 years, over 11 years experience over different industries. That's IT, sales, marketing, multimedia, and entertainment. And I've been able to interact with different environments, whether it's business to customer, business to business, and business to government. I currently work full-time at Lemonade and Consider iProspect, part of the digital agency network, which are mainly digital marketing agencies. And in my free time, I do host a podcast called the Wow Factor Podcast, where I do interact with various personalities in the spheres of business and other gainful entities. That the main aim is to show the good things they're doing in the communities and how they're having a positive impact on those communities. And over the years, I have founded 3 entities. That is G5 to Inspiration, which is a music agency, and the Wow Factor, the One Question Network, which is a platform that promotes individuals through interviews. And finally, the Wow Journal, which is just a website which I put up that puts all my ideas, all things that motivate me into one given space. So that is me in summary.
All right. Thank you, Samuel. I think we have Tony on the line now. So if I go back here, Tony, are you there? I saw him join in. Okay. You have to unmute yourself, Tony.
I've done it. I've unmuted myself. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you now. Thank you. Thank you for joining. So we are going through the round of introductions. So could you probably introduce yourself to the audience and what do you do?
Yes, first of all, let me apologize for coming in late. My Zoom app on my PC was faulty, so I just used my phone. Anyway, my name is Tony Ivory. I am a software developer by profession, but I'm also the CEO and founder of the Online Butchery, which is an online meat store that is that guarantees clients a variety of fresh meat products delivered to their premises. Online Butchery is not the only entity I've tried to start up, but it is the most successful by far. Actually, it's the only one that is successful. All the others failed, and I was fortunate enough that this worked out for me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your story. All right, now that we have everyone here, let's move into the topic of today. So we're gonna be discussing the challenges that a lot of startups and entrepreneurs are facing currently with the current pandemic. So we're gonna structure the whole discussion around 3 main areas or categories. So first we'll focus on before the COVID situation, how everybody was doing, the impact of the COVID and the challenges on the businesses, and then we will look at the post-COVID situation, what entrepreneurs foresee and what will be life after the COVID situation, basically. So I'll probably start off with Udesh. Let's hear what you have to tell us about the WSF and your activities before the COVID pandemic hits you.
So before.
Yeah, before.
Okay,
This is before.
Yeah, so before the pandemic, before the situation arose, things was very much smooth, I would say. Things was very much smooth. And what were busy mainly doing was seeing literally how to get businesses and connect them with actually stakeholders out there. So WSF is a part, or I would say a puzzle of actually WSF Ventures. So WSF Ventures is whereby that we overlook small, medium enterprises, businesses, or in Asia, you can call them as startups. and literally they are looking for some either cash funding, but there'll be dollar valuation, or they'll be looking for maybe grants, loans, and how they can actually bring up the businesses into government entities. So
Okay.
we work, so we work closely with government and also private agencies. This is before the pandemic.
And how was that
Okay,
working?
and
How
then
was that working for you?
that was totally fine. But if I would like to actually share my experience as well, right? In Asia, especially in Malaysia, okay, especially in Malaysia, I think so. I mentioned to Selawa as well previously as well, is that these startups, when you talk about startups, right? The whole idea, I don't look at a startup as a startup, but I see people's mindset. Their mindset is really wrong, is because that they are going to the whole entrepreneurship with a mindset that I'm going in to make a lot of money and within a short time. And we had all the beautiful stories planted out worldwide, like Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Ma, all these guys that within a short time you can make a lot of money. So that was the idea of entrepreneurship. Even social enterprises
Mm-hmm.
went into this sphere of entrepreneurship with a mindset that to make a lot of money. So the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that everyone wanted an easy way out. I just come with a lot of ideas, with a ton full of ideas, and I expect people to fund my business. I expect to get grants, loans, all those. So with that mindset, it's totally wrong, because why? You don't even know what is the business that you're going to put on. You don't even have an MVP. You have never ran the business. You are not putting your own cash, but you're expecting everybody to arrange everything in front of you. So that was the main thing that we really saw in Asia, to be honest with you. Mainly was the rise of China. So the
Mm-hmm.
private equity investment, because you have to realize, you see, the whole idea when you want to actually go into businesses, we always say that the Chinese were the best people in business. I would agree with that, because I exited 2 companies just mainly with investments from China. Okay. The thing with Chinese is because of the mindset of FOMO,
Mm-hmm.
fear of missing
Fear,
out,
fear of missing
they
out. Yeah.
would bet on you like betting on a horse. Missing out, so they will bet on you to literally see that if you are going to be the kid one day exiting the company, let
Mm-hmm.
me invest slowly in you when you're small. I don't mind. Okay, so that really in fact spoiled even more the ecosystem, because why? Everybody knew that as long as I come up with a good idea, I'm going to get some funding and going to grow on. So if you look at the data and statistics, like what WSF has, even in WSF US and Europe, right? When a startup or a business comes to play in the market, they have validation.
Mm-hmm.
They have MVPs, they have protocols, they have done something before they come and look for funding. And that is when people start putting in. But the whole thing over this side of the world is that people come with ideas and, hey, can you fund me? I have a great idea, please fund me. So it's truly different. To be honest with you, it's very different. So
Okay.
that, yeah.
Tony, how about yourself? And how was the online butchery doing before the pandemic?
Yes, before the pandemic, online butchery was doing so well. We had our projections were we were very confident 2020 was our year, and we're already celebrating because our revenues was high, sales were high, we were onboarding almost 10 clients every week. So everything was going well.
So just for people who just joined the call, could you probably remind us how long have you been working on the online butchery, and what is it? What exactly do you do? Do you only do meat delivery, or you have other channels as well?
No, I've been on butchery started in 2018 November.
Okay.
It started out small. It was just an idea where I just wanted to connect people to butcheries, and they get meat. But then I later realized that the meat at the butcheries was not safe for consumption because they were poorly handled. So I had to sit down and think it through and think of how I can give people meat and guarantee to them that it is safe for consumption. So I sat down for weeks and months. I went through the business model. The business model kept changing like over 25 times, I think, plus. Up to now, it is still changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we keep revisiting every now and then just to see where we can do better. So basically, right now we mainly deal in raw meat products,
Okay.
of all kinds, a variety of meat products. That is what makes an butchery exciting. Is that our clients can get each and everything from one place. Because, for example, let me give an example of a restaurant which is supposed to be buying meat on a daily basis, and they have a different guy for beef, they have a different guy for goat, they have a different guy for chicken. Realize they are spending a lot of money paying each and every person to deliver, yet they would spend less if it was only one person who was doing all of that. So that's one of the things that excited our clients, that they kept coming on board, and also the quality we are bringing in. So the business started growing itself after a while. And after when the pandemic hit, we had to come up with new services because we realized that people were stuck home, and not all of them can know how to cook or are willing to cook, or some of them are just lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to come up with what we call the prepaid meal plans, where you can pay for meals for like a week or a month, and for us we cook the meals for you. But these are meat themed meals, like you have to have meat somewhere. So we cook meals for you and deliver lunch and supper for the entire week that you have paid. Okay. So if you pay for a month, we deliver lunch and supper for the entire month. Yeah, every day for the entire month. Yeah. So those are the new services we just onboarded, and they are doing well. They are doing well. The response is good, and also we are trying to find ways of how we can deliver fresh meat at affordable prices, because people are not earning money right now, but people want to eat meat. So we are trying to figure out how can we do this? How can we give them meat at an affordable price and still maintain the quality? And different ideas have been flying around. Like we have to now directly work with farmers who have these animals, get the meat directly from farmers. So that is what we are looking into at the moment as we are going forward.
And there's a question for you. Ayola is asking, where do you operate from?
We operate from. We have a station in Ntinda. In Ntinda, Chigowa. We have a station where we collect the meat. We get meat from our different suppliers. We collect it here. We cut it. We package it, and then we distribute to our clients. We were also planning to expand to put up different stations in different districts of Uganda, because we are planning to move to put up a station just like this one in Mbarara and in Entebbe. And it was one of our growth strategies that we were planning to implement before the COVID-19 pandemic came on the scene. But it's still, we're still looking to it. And I'm thinking the moment the lockdown is lifted, we are definitely going to push forward with that, because we're trying to be able to reach the different parts of the country that need our services as well.
Okay, cool. And there was another question from Sanchit asking you, when did you start? I believe you already answered that. It was November 2018, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you for that. All right, I know, Samuel, you are more of a consultant, but probably you could a little bit share with us, has there been a difference with your Wow Factor podcast before the pandemic and now?
You're sending it to
Well, with the wow factor then and now, I can say before the launch, before the COVID times, I can say there was less listenership, because that is probably because of people spending less time online. And after, I see there's a spike in the number of listeners on the podcast. That's definitely because there are more people listen to the podcast, because they have more free time and they are mostly using the internet quite heavily.
Yeah, I think people are kind of looking for things to do, you know. So any type of online business right now is actually booming, you know. It's the same way Zoom boomed to the extent that we know.
Definitely, because if you have a lot of content to consume and you have the internet readily available, that's the best time to better yourself. Either you're going to watch movies, or you can get some helpful content that will make you better. Because this is the right moment. COVID has put us in a place whereby you are either going to get better at what you are, or you're going to get worse. Either you watch movies, or you'll scale your knowledge by taking into more courses. So I believe this is the time to venture in. If people are spending more time online, so let's get them where they are.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. So if probably could you share with us, if let's assume there is anyone in the audience that would like to start their own podcast, how do you go about, you know, finding people to interview, and how does that process feels like?
Well, for starters, you have to have a strategy, and you have to have the main aim for your podcast. Mine is mainly supposed to promote people based on what they have achieved the most. If I'm now looking for, let's say, I'm looking for senior executives, looking for CEOs, what type of CEOs am I looking for? Am I looking for a startup CEO? Am I looking for a seasoned CEO? So in light of the specific topic I would like to cover, maybe let's say brand development, I would look for a CEO who is in a branding company, and that's the best approach that I have. So that's the strategy. And two, what type of people am I hoping to speak directly to? With that being said, that's when I shortlist the number I shortlist the respective respondents. I send them the messages, and if based on the ones that respond, I craft their interview questions based on their experience and based on what I would like the audiences to understand more about them.
Okay, makes sense. So definitely one need to have a strategy in place. You cannot just wake up tomorrow and say you want to have your own podcast. That doesn't work. Like any other type of business out there.
It will die if there's no strategy. Strategy is the most important. That comes first, and then everything else will follow, because the strategy will determine what type of people you're going to interview. It will determine the type of communication strategy you're going to use to push your podcast out, and also to determine the type of content you're going to convert your podcast into, whether it's going to be video type of podcast or it's going to be audio. All those things are dependent on the strategy that you have in mind.
Okay. And you have a question from Tony that is asking, whether it's expensive to start a podcast?
It's actually not expensive. Let's start at the cost of an average clip microphone, the one that you use on your phone. Because already you have the first device, which is a mobile phone. Most smartphones come with already embedded recorders. So the most purchase you're going to have is a clip microphone, which is about approximately 20,000 Uganda shillings, which is approximately $10, if I may say.
Okay.
About $7 to $8. And in terms of distribution of the podcast, there are free platforms like Anchor that helps to distribute the platform for their podcast for free, and to push it to as far as Spotify, Google Podcasts, and different other aggregators.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's move on a little bit. Time is running. So let's now focus on the current situation. And could you, probably starting with Tony, share with us the main difficulties or the challenges that the COVID-19 situation has brought onto your business at this point of time?
Yes, thank you. You see, before the COVID-19 happened, online butchery was majorly focused on the B2B market. Like we were mainly supplying to hotels and restaurants and schools, because they ordered more, and the more they order, the more the money we make. But we weren't really focusing on the B2C, though we were supplying to some B2C clients, but not a lot. So when the pandemic hit, most of our B2B clients had to close. So it means we had to now focus our attention to the B2C. But now that's where the challenge came, because we did not have the proper structures set up for B2C. We had plans of rolling out a B2C plan step by step, which was supposed to be complete by around May, June this year. But then we had to now launch it there and then, out of the blue. So we did not have especially the logistics part. That's where the challenges came in, the logistics. How, because now remember the B2C clients do not order 10 kilograms, they don't order 15. They order 1 kilogram of meat. And the cost to transport that 1 kilogram of meat is almost the amount of the meat itself. So that was our challenge. Our challenge was logistics. We were like, how am I going to transport 1 kilogram of meat to my client without increasing the price of the meat itself? And how can I make it like viable business-wise? So those were the challenges. The challenges were mostly logistics and also manpower, because thanks to the COVID-19, we had to push most of our staff to stay home, and we only kept the essentials, because right now we're like only two to three people working out of we are a total of 8, and only 2 and then 3 people have to figure out how to make it work and push and make sure everyone is served. But our major issue was mainly logistics, which up to now is still an issue. We are trying to solve it slowly by slowly. But we have gone ahead to partner up with multiple logistics companies to try to come up with favorable conditions for them to try to can work with them as we supply to our clients, and try not to increase the amount of money someone has to pay for a kilogram of meat.
So could you probably elaborate a little bit to the audience, how did you manage to solve the logistic problems? Because I hear you mention that the cost of, delivering one kilogram of meat is almost the same as the meat itself, or something along those lines. So how did you solve that challenge? Did you use, for example, tech or anything of that sort?
No, so what we did is we sat down with we had meetings with multiple logistics companies to see if I can get one with favorable prices, where we can try to impose a delivery fee on clients of around 3,000 shillings. That is like around $1. Okay. On each delivery. So we managed to get a company called Tube Transporters. And what we did is because now these people charge us 5,000 per delivery. So what we did is we get all the orders that have come in through the day, and we organize them by route. Let me say if like 6 orders are all going they're all going to be on the same road, like same direction. Okay. We give them all one delivery person. Okay. So that he can just make one long journey and he's done. So that's what we did. So every order that comes in, we categorize it, we organize them by location, where they are, time. And then we give. So now you find that we only now need like around 3 delivery people, each one of them taking around serving around 10 clients at a time. Okay. So that has helped us reduce on the cost of delivery, without significantly increasing the charges when the client has to pay. So the client only has to pay $1 extra to receive meat, and we also have a minimum order. If a client can meet the minimum order, if a client orders about 3 kilograms, as a 9 butcher, we are the ones who pay for the delivery. So the client doesn't have to pay for it. Okay. Yeah, so you incentivize the clients to pay them to order more. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
a nice way to batch the order delivery to address the cost concerns. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Udesh, how about your side? Tell us what's the impact on your business today?
On the business, okay. So our business is kind of different. Mainly why is because, like I mentioned, the whole idea of, in fact, looking towards WSF and how we, in fact, do all this is we look towards the whole idea of growing and supporting the other businesses around us, and looking towards what has happened in this pandemic season. Pandemic season, or yeah, it doesn't sound fun. Pandemic season. So sorry to say that. A lot of businesses are dearly affected. Like, I will give an example. Stella, you know, just in front of my house, the KL Gateway is there. KL Gateway,
Okay.
the mall, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's already 8 tenants closing up. Eight tenants are closing up. And Daiso Malaysia as well, I've been hearing that they are shutting down a couple of their entries as well. And in Klang Valley, next week, because we are kind of helping doing the closures as well, 3 MNCs are actually closing off next week in Klang Valley as well. Okay, so things are not looking very good, in fact, for everyone. And I don't blame anyone, because I think so the only thing to comfort each and everyone is that we are all together in this. You know, we are all together in this, and it's going to go on for some time. And looking towards the economics from the global standpoint of view, from Africa to US, different regions, Europe, and then Asia, because Asia can't grow by itself. We have a huge population and resource, but we are totally dependent because of the capitalist cycle that we're in. Not many people do realize that. I do note as well, I'm pulling from a different point of view, that some government agencies, some governments, and some countries are telling that, don't worry, everything is totally fine. You know, we are going to be able to go on. We are going to give a stimulus package and everything. But realistically, as a business owner, as an employer, a lot of people are suffering. Okay, and that's not good news, because why? The way that it churns down to the employer coming down to the employees, it doesn't make sense. When the business is not running, I cannot continue giving out salary, you know, because sales are not coming in, just like Tony and everything mentioned just now. So the whole idea that we have to realize that the whole capitalist cycle or arena that we were in over the last years have slowly started to show that it is already crumbling down. And this start of a crumble is going to be huge, really, really huge. There was one of our, in fact, when I said one of our is a Malaysian, he was speaking on behalf of Khazanah, I guess. He was an economic analyst, and he was telling that, yeah, the oil price is actually crashing because of WTIs in the US. Is not going to affect us, don't worry, and we are going to remain stable. I mean, like, from where did he even get that kind of analytics? You know, the whole globe literally depends on that kind of statistics. And that's why I kind of worry, because why is that not many people are actually telling the truth what's happening out there. You know, I guess as everyone right now, as entrepreneurs, the whole idea is that try to save as much as possible, not only yourself, your loved ones, but your friends, is that be true what's going to happen. The whole economy is coming down. We need to realize that the strength of the petrodollar is also going down, and that's going to have a hard effect on everyone, okay, on everyone. And if we look within the industries of, there's a lot of industries which is now all crumbling down. If you look at the industries as well, people don't realize on certain aspects whereby that it is not only certain industries that depends on petroleum, gasoline, oil that is actually going to matter. Every industry is heavily affected, number one. Number two, no matter what businesses you're doing, because of this pandemic, you have to realize that people's mindset have started to change, okay? Thirdly, you're looking towards e-commerce. E-commerce, when everything you go online, you start to purchase and everything. Now there is, like, you can call it a gold mine rush for everyone to put the things online. But you have to be able to understand clearly this trend is only going to be able to sustain the next 6 months, maybe even what 3 months. And after that, this trend is going to go down. And why I'm saying this is because that you all have to understand, when I said you all is the entrepreneurs out there, you have to know we are talking about the 21st century, okay? Everything is online, people are buying and selling and everything. But look at the data analytics is that majority of the people, in fact, more than 75 to 80% based on analytics from Alibaba on their sales and everything comes from the middle income earners. So when you look at middle income earners, these are the people living in the cities, living out of the urban areas, and they have a lot of cash to actually spend, okay? Which goes around every industry out there, no matter you are F&B, you are food, you are sales, any industry, even automotives. These people are now going to be heavily affected because of this pandemic. Number one, the salaries are not there. Number two, whatever businesses they are doing there is not moving as well. Everything is reduced. And three, not talking about food, beverages, entertainment outlets, travel, everything is heavily devastated. Okay. So when you look towards these 3 points that is brought together in its whole capitalist market, the e-commerce scene is going to be at a stall. I'm not kidding you. It's going to be at a stall. Just many people are not realizing that. It's going to come down slowly, but you have to realize is because that the middle income earners have now a huge problem. They are not making the amount of cash as they were in the past months.
Yeah, so people are realizing the financial, circle and debts and whatnot they are currently in. And I think, like you mentioned, this current situation is, making that surface a lot more. All right. So in the interest of time,
sure.
Let's hear what Samuel has to say. I know, Samuel, you already mentioned that you have a lot more readership now from your podcast, but could you tell us more if what kind of challenges that you face with this current pandemic, and probably how did you adapt?
When you invited me for this, I want to skew my conversation not only to the podcast, but towards what I've observed align with other businesses, because my podcast is just a drop in the ocean. So one thing I've seen, the thing that I've observed about this pandemic, before we talk about how it's affected the businesses, we want to look at how are the people responding online. So what are they doing? For the customers, what do they mainly purchase? They mainly purchase groceries, home essentials, and now their focus is towards more of online rather than offline purchases due to the fact of the movement control orders around the world. And then what are they mainly doing? They are streaming. The conversations are mainly skewed towards health and safety. Dining at home is a very powerful conversation. And lastly, their worries are more in line with personal finance, job security, and children education because they can't go to school. And finally, the healthcare. So having looked at those areas in terms of the social insights, I asked myself, what are the businesses doing positively? Or who are some few success factors at achieving some success in these tough pandemic times? And some of the businesses that I found, and some of the things that I found with these success stories, is they have changed the way they communicate. They no longer do hard sell pushes of their products. They're more looking towards the consumer side of a soft sell. We are helping you to achieve, we care about you, we ensure that you wash your hands. So the line of communication has changed with the businesses. And also those successful businesses that I've seen, for example, T-Live, My Burger Lab, and Pika Eats, they have done what they call do-it-yourself kits of their packages. For T-Live, mainly the consumers of boba tea, you can create your own boba tea. So now the control has gone back to the customer. It's no longer more on the business end of come, buy your tea and go away. So this has been tweaked by the factor of COVID-19. My Burger Lab has had a partnership with Inside Scoop, where they give you they give you the ingredients to make the burger as well, and also they give you an extra ice cream. And then Pika Eats, which was the one that caught my attention, they are providing a health solution, which is healthy soy milk, because at the moment people are more sensitive towards having healthy meals. And what made their business more successful is the intentional use of social media. So since people are staying at home, they are using a very powerful effort of content marketing. And this content marketing has increased their audience and also increased their sales. So in this period of COVID-19, businesses are now more intentional towards their communications, and in these tough times, they've even innovated those products. So yes, it's a tough time, but as well, there's been a shift towards innovating things which are necessary at the moment, rather than having wishful thinking of products that don't make sense in the industry.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's what I've mainly understood from this period.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen a lot of businesses, adapting to the situation and trying what they can to still deliver their business and reach profitability. A good example is what Tony is doing with the online butchery. Now he's more focusing on the B2C side of the business. So we are left with 10 minutes to go. So I will give each of you 1 minute to tell us how do you see life after COVID? What do you foresee 3-6 months from now or 12 months from now? Just 1 minute, and then we can open the floor to questions. Tony?
Yes, life after COVID for online butchery is actually looking good, because right now we have proved to our clients that we are capable of delivering meat no matter the situation. As online butchery, we have always had this goal to become a household name when it comes to meat supply. Like once someone thinks of meat at home, they think of online butchery. So, and I believe the pandemic has given us the opportunity to prove to people that we can do that. We can deliver. We, at any time, at any situation, we're always going to be there. So I'm projecting that life after the pandemic our business is going to boom. The moment our the B2B clients come back, they'll be like, these guys who are there during COVID, they are really reliable. So more clients will come on board, and the B2C market will also grow for us.
Okay, thank you for that. Udesh, in 1 minute, how do you see life after COVID?
Life after COVID. Wow, this is so positive. Hello, I love you. So,
we have to remain positive during this situation,
Very true. Very true. In fact, I think so. The main thing that is actually hitting entrepreneurs out there, when I mention entrepreneurs, are everyone who's starting something by themselves, is that everyone is just, it's something like a monkey see, monkey do situation. They're not using their own consciousness and their own mind. They're not thinking. They go online. People say, do e-commerce. They go to Google and then they say, set up your website. And then they go to Facebook and they see Facebook ads. To me, that every entrepreneur out there at this point of time, you should get out of the internet and think for yourself that what is the main point that you have been doing your business, and go down that street. Do not push yourself with the flow, because in a pandemic or in a crisis, I mentioned a crisis like this, not everyone is going to be able to make it through, number one. Okay. Number two, staying as positive as possible. Businesses, always I advise people, there is a possibility right now for entrepreneurs and especially employers to do mergers and acquisition to safeguard your business. Okay, so maybe for example, we have two entrepreneurs here. One is having a podcast and another one is an online butchery store, and maybe another one is actually just another, maybe sell out yourself, Cafe or GetGandal. Okay, so you guys are all having issues right now. You should see how you can support yourself. A merger and acquisition of within 2 or 3 companies, how you are helping the industry, how are you going to the community, because that is going to be one of the main lifesavers for every business in the next coming months. But sadly, not many people are talking about this. Not many people are talking about this, and people do not see the issue. But that's what I said, that post-COVID, right now and post-COVID, how I think is going to be is that the whole business world is going to change tremendously. Okay, it's not going to be necessarily tougher for everyone, but you have to realize the whole capitalist world, we have the different industries, the skills and everything has all been broken down. All been broken down. Those who are really coming up with new ideas, with distinctive plans and strategies, okay, to actually move on, they are going to be the survivors carrying up the new things.
All
Okay?
right. Thank you, Udesh. I have to jump to Samuel. Otherwise, we are running out of time. Samuel, tell us in 1 minute, how do you see life after COVID?
Well, I see life after COVID having an intentional spike in the usage of social media and the other digital platforms, whether it's purchases, that's for e-commerce. But I see there being an extensive spike in the use of social media, because having seen that we are heavily dependent on social for communication and as well promoting our businesses, I see that's where the direction is going to go. And e-commerce, also quoting the Minister of Trade for Uganda, on one interview with NBS TV, highlighted that the government is going to have a focus on e-commerce moving forward. So I see that happening across the globe for areas that are not heavily intensive on e-commerce. That's my take on the future after COVID.
All right. Well, I think we had some interesting insight today. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and how you have been adapting to the current situation. Before we close the call, we can still take on a couple of more questions. We still have 5 minutes to go. But we'd also like to ask all of you to, go and rate this event. You can scan this QR code using your phone and give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on how you feel the event went and what we can improve. This will help us do better the next time. Looking at the chat here, I see a couple of questions. One is from Sanjit that is asking Tony, basically, how did you get the idea to start the online butchery? So Tony, if you can spend a couple of seconds to explain, how did you get the idea about this online butchery?
I always get this question, and the idea of online butchery, it just came to me because as I was looking for an opportunity, I was looking for a problem to solve. And that's when I saw the problem in the meat industry, where there are so many players who are not doing it right.
Okay.
So I did research to find out what is the right way to do it, what is the right way to handle meat. And then I came up with a solution, which is the online butchery, and I put it out there. And this is where we have reached now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was basically looking for a problem to solve. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yeah, the question was from Sanchit. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Do we still have Sanjit on the line? Yes. Okay. Before we close the call, two more things. One is we can continue this conversation in our WhatsApp group. We do have a WhatsApp group. It's a community where we exchange idea like this. We can ask questions and people can reply. So if you scan this particular QR code, you can join the WhatsApp group and contribute to the discussions there. We don't spam people. We usually block people who just put in spam links and whatnot. But feel free to join. There are a couple of us out there, and anytime you have a question, you are free to ask. And the last thing before we close, let's all have a group photo. So this is, you know, the new thing in the internet, even though it's virtual. I think we can see how we can manage to pull out a group photo here. So let me do this. Okay, so this is about as big my screen is. Sorry if all of you cannot fit here, but I'll try my best. Just give me a second. I will try using my phone, and then I will screenshot as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Okay, one more time. Okay, let me screenshot from my computer just to make sure I have everyone there. Just a second. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. It was a pleasure having all of you here. Stay tuned for the next event and follow us on social media, and we'll keep in touch. Don't forget to join our WhatsApp group as well. So the QR code is here. You can scan and it will direct you, add you to the group, and we can continue this conversation. If you have more questions, you can drop your questions there, and we are more than happy to assist. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again for joining.